Hi, everyone. This is Coach Stephanie Wood, and I'm with my favorite colleague, Janet Krebs, Kreb, like in boy, S. And we're here today on my podcast, Tap Into Your Body Confidence, where entrepreneurs unite to showcase their talents. And Janet, you know how we start our show. I ask you what you're up to and how can people connect with you?
I'm up to so much, actually. So I will break it down. I actually just came back from Boise, Idaho, where I was blessed with working with the famous Stephen Memel on fine-tuning my speaking skills. So I'm looking for stages to spread the word. And janetkrebs.com is always just an easy place to find me. So there you go.
There you go. She makes it nice and simple.
I mean, LinkedIn, I'm on socials
Oh,
too.
it'll be in the description. Don't we know
Yeah.
you're everywhere? Not to worry. And you can find me. She makes me grin all the time. You can find me at Body Awe, BODYAWE, like an awesome.com. And Janet knows I love to coach women entrepreneurs to integrate better skills into their business, but most importantly, to fine tune their confidence skills. And I do this with my body knowledge system. And with that said, Janet, we were talking earlier in the week about this concept about putting myself first without feeling selfish. What's your take on that?
Stop that right now. That's my take on that.
There's Janet, right to the point. There's nothing to
Right.
discuss.
Yeah, and maybe perhaps it is like this is a beautiful part of the evolution of women generationally, like the Leave It to Beaver, the survey, all of that. That was like the 40s and the 50s, and women felt as though they were second-class citizens. And I guess if you look historically, like, last to vote and things like that. So we are coming into historically, our snapshot of evolution and emergence is really small by historical standards. It is time to just shed any and all belief that self-care in a multitude of what that looks like for each individual, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever that is, all of the above, is a necessity. And it's not selfish because, and I spoke to a nurse once. We were talking about her being a personal training client of mine. She was like, "Oh, I don't have time for that." I was like, "But you're a nurse. You're in the business of taking care of everybody else. How do you not take care of yourself?" "Oh, I guess you're right." I mean, like, what? How can you possibly take care of everybody else if you don't take care of yourself? So for me, it's the exact opposite. We must, if you are of servant heart, as most women would say they are, whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever, we're women first and we have people that we nurture. How can we
Okay,
nurture
so
if
Janet,
we
let me jump in here. As I've been listening to you, I go right to the practical. Like, how do you practice this me first self-care? I practice by creating an intention. Like, for instance, I want to walk with my body this morning. Now, I don't think about it as selfish or me first or whatever. I'm just doing what's going to make me feel good for the rest of the day. What would you do for yourself?
I journal first
Well,
thing.
I'm jealous because I could never do that. Wow.
I believe that I spent so many years working, as a W-2. I was a teacher, primarily a teacher amongst other things. And I had to do that with like 2 kids and get them on the school bus, blah, 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 blah. that now they're flown and grown, and I'm really enjoying a quieter morning routine because I was so rushed for my entire
Oh,
profession.
yeah, yeah. So let me add this. Can we just make a tiny, like a 5-point list for our audience? I use movement. You use journaling. What else can we add?
Ideas or tactic, and I'll tell you why I asked.
Go for it.
Because I've been a personal trainer for 13 years now, and I've been in fitness longer as a participant before that.
Just an idea that can give people
Whatever,
choices.
whatever. So come up with your choices, whether it's meditation, stretching, movement, walking, a shake, journaling, music. Like, do you have a signature song that when it plays, you're just awake and happy? I have one. Do you have a song? That's another subject.
Oh, no,
Do
it's not another subject. I mean, I did
well,
that the other day in my living room. I listened to this one guy. He makes the earth rock under my feet. He
there you
makes me
go.
feel sexy and everything else you can imagine. So I think I have to go now, Janet. Bye.
So
No,
right.
but notice how all of these things I'm noticing that they're all personal things, has nothing to do with anybody else in the room or in the world. Did you notice that? It's like you and that thing.
For some people, and myself included, I didn't add to, I love now my first cup of coffee in bed with my journal. So it's a twofer, right? And before I do anything else,
Because, Janet, because what does it do for you? I mean,
it sets my intention for the day. It gets my head on straight for the day. It's my brain dump. Typically, here I'll add a third. I put some meditative music on in the
ooh,
background. I use Insight Timer. And so sometimes it's like a clearing or it's an energy or whatever I choose for the day, just background music. So I've got them compounded. And that's how I set the intention for the day.
okay, now just to pause here, we're going to wrap up, Janet. What would be one thing you would tell our audience to remember?
Whatever you choose, make it something that works for you, that you can do consistently, and integrate it into your routine. So whatever I do, whatever you do, Stephanie, whatever your best friend does, if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. Find what works for you, because that's what you're going to stick with. And that's the most important thing.
You can tell how excited she is. She could go on all day about this journaling thing and do what's good for you. But this is why I love Miss Janet. And you can find Janet where? Where can we find
janetkrebs.com,
Janet?
janetkrebs.com or LinkedIn. Those are my two favorites.
And for me, Body Awe, B-O, my mouth, BODYAWE.com. Find out my body knowledge system there and some goodies. So with that said, Janet, I'll see you again.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.